And I miss vlogging, so yeah, that's what we're doing. If you're paying attention to how quickly things are happening, you're kind of like, girl. Hi friends, welcome in or welcome back to my channel. My name is Ashley if this is your first time here, and if you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for your continued support. It has been 2 weeks since I posted anything. I do have a video going live today, but I'm finally getting back into the space where I'm wanting to create content. I figured, why not start a new weekly vlog and just kind of talk about what I'm reading, what I'm hoping to get to this month. I do have a TBR that I have been working from, and I don't want to say that I'm not going to follow that, but I have abandoned my Apollycon TBR, and so since that is in like 2 weeks, it's like now I want to read the stuff that I want to read. I want to focus more on the books that I own, whether that be on my Kindle or on my shelves. And yeah, so that's where my focus is, and I miss vlogging, so yeah, that's what we're doing. So let me tell you what I am currently reading. I am on the third book of the Filthy Rich Vampires series. It's the Three Queens, and this series follows Thea and Julian. Thea is a human and Julian is a vampire. Basically, they are trying to figure out how to make their relationship work, and there are many things at play. I'm having a very good time in this series. I will say book one took me a little bit of time to get into, and I was a little frustrated with the timeline, but by the end of book one, I was hooked. Book two, I loved it. Even more, like if I had to give it a rating, I would say book one is probably like a 3.75 stars. Book two is a 4.5 stars. I am enjoying book three. I am 36% into this book. And like I said, I'm having a good time. I anticipate finishing that this week because for once, we don't have anything going on, so I have a little extra free time to read. I did get a new Kindle, and I love it. The screen is much bigger, and my other Kindle was glitching pretty bad, so I knew it was time. The other book that I am currently reading, and I'm over halfway through, and that is Final Offer, and this is book three in the Dreamland Billionaire series, and I'm having a really good time. This has been really cute. I typically struggle when like a contemporary romance book is more than 400 pages. Like, I'm usually like, why? But from Lauren Asher's past writing, I know that she tells a story. Every time I finish one of her books, I feel like I have spent time with the characters. I feel like it's been weeks and months and we've lived a life together. So because I love Lauren Asher's writing so much, I don't mind it being long. And I will say this book has been a little harder to read because it deals with substance abuse, and it deals with like self-loathing and self-deprecating thoughts. Like, you really fear for the mental health of one of the main characters. It's been a little tough to get through, but I am making my way through it, and I anticipate finishing this book this week as well. Fingers crossed. This follows Callahan and Elena. It is a second chance romance. These two were together when they were younger, and circumstances happened where they broke up, and one is trying to win the other back. And yeah, second chance, small town. I don't know what else I can say. I am a sucker for a billionaire romance book. Just something about a man coming and sweeping a woman up off her feet, taking care of the financial burdens, taking care of her, just makes me feel all tingly inside, okay? Loving it. And then the last book that I have been reading, Forced Bonds by J. Brigg. I believe that's the one that I'm in, but it is book 4 of the Bonds That Tie series, and that is another series that I'm having a very good time with. The Filthy Rich Vampire series and the Bonds That Tie series have had me in a chokehold. Fingers crossed that I get all 3 of these finished this week. Preferably, I would like to get them finished like before the weekend so that I can possibly start and finish a new book with you all. I do have a full April TBR that I pulled from my shelves, all physical reads, and I have not started one of them. And a week has already passed in this month, so we shall see. I think whatever I don't finish this month, I'm just going to roll over, but we'll see. Friends, I'm back with another update. I have finished 2 of the 3 books that I started this vlog with. The first book that I finished was Fractured Bonds by J. Brigg, and it is the 4th book in the Bonds That Tie series. And it is so good. Obviously, I can't say too much because it's 4 books and this is a 6-book series. But what I can say is each one of these books end with a cliffhanger. So if that's not your thing, or if you don't like being flung into the next book, stay away, or just be prepared to binge read or listen to that series back to back, because like it's something that happens at the end of each book and you're like, oh my gosh, I have to know what is happening. So I did finish listening to that yesterday at work, and I immediately started book 5. So I have been listening to that. I am now about 25% into that audiobook, and I do plan to listen to it while I work today, so I may finish it. So the other book that I did finish last night was Final Offer by Lauren Asher, and overall I had a really good time with that book. I feel like there could have been at least like 75 pages, maybe 100 pages that could have been taken out. But I think I felt that way because like I was really trying to get to the end. Some of it felt unnecessary maybe. And I think I want to kind of sit with that a couple of days and see how I feel, because I tend to feel this way at the end of Lauren Asher's book. And it's not because it's a bad thing, but I'm just more impatient to know how the book ends. And there's a lot that like she makes you feel. Like I was telling my husband whenever I finished the book last night, like this book spans, you know, an entire summer, and Lauren Asher makes you feel like you walked through this entire summer with the characters. At a certain point in each one of these books, I have felt like, okay, I want to know what's happening. Can we get to the end? Maybe I will, after I've sat with this for a little bit, I will come back and give like, you know what? No, I'm going to do it now. I'll just do like spoilers. Okay. So I'll put up a little thing here, and I'm going to talk about the spoilers of the Final Offer and the kind of some of the things that I did not necessarily care for. So when it comes to Elena, I understand that she had a very rough past, and I understand that she has a very hard time trusting people just because of the past that her and Cal had together, and then like her sister and the issues that she had with her sister. I personally feel like the sister plot could have been left out of this book, because you only hear from her one time and see her one time, and then she's not mentioned again, like in the present tense. And I kind of feel like it could have been either not there, or we could have had her sister comes clean of her drug addiction. I would have really enjoyed that, but it just felt like she was put into the book because they needed to explain where the inheritance money that Callahan's grandfather left her went. That is my thought process there. I also, the misunderstanding that happens toward the end of this book where Elena overhears a conversation, I was not a fan of, because as me, a real life person, not a fictional character, if I overhear something, whether it be purposely eavesdropping or, just in passing, if I hear something that I feel like I need to question, I'm going to question my significant other. I'm not going to just assume that I know what's going on based off of a snippet of a conversation that I had, regardless of my past with that person. I feel like at some point in your life, you have to be able to ask the important questions that you need answers to. The other thing that I loathed about this book was the treatment of Callahan by the people in the town. The way everybody treats this man whenever he gets to this small town, to Lake Wisteria, is abysmal. There were a couple of points, and I think the reason why it took me so long to get through this book, I had to put it down. And he did not do anything to deserve the treatment of the townspeople at the beginning of this book. And it was just very frustrating to me. That was pretty much my ire with this book. But overall, that still wasn't enough to take away my enjoyment. I loved the three brothers. I know a lot of people don't like Rowan, but I don't know. Overall, I did enjoy this book. I enjoyed this series. I'm very happy that I've read it. I'm very happy that I own them all. I would say the series as a whole, I would give 5 stars. I laughed and giggled. The first 2 books I flew through. The second book, Terms and Conditions, is my favorite. And yeah. The only book that I have right now that I started this vlog with is Filthy Rich Vampires. I don't know how much reading I will be getting done today. I do have a little bit of time before I need to clock in. So I will either be reading this or listening to the 5th book of the Bonds That Tie series. And I will be sure to give you an update when I have one. It's pretty early in the day, so I expect to have another update for you all at minimum by tonight. Okay, I just wanted to do another check-in on the books that I'm reading and where I've gotten in the day. Okay, first things first, I had something like finishing the final author and a character that was introduced in the end kind of got my brain tingling. So on my lunch today, I went to my shelves and I pulled this, which is Love Redesigned, and I realized that the character that was introduced at the end of the final offer is the main character in this book. This thing is a chunker. I don't think I realized or remembered this book being this thick, but I am extremely excited now to get started in this, especially knowing what I know from this character's introduction on the end of the last book. I don't know when I'm going to get to this. Probably not until midsummer if I had to guess, but it made me happy to discover that today. I have gotten to, I think, 50% in Tragic Bonds, and I wish that I would have documented me reading the first book through the series, and so that way I could have done a complete little reading vlog about it, but I did not have the foresight, and I honestly did not think that it was going to capture me the way it did. It's good. Next, I have made it to 50% in Filthy Rich Vampires, 3 Queens, and that couple cannot catch a break. It's one thing after another, and I feel bad because it's are you ever gonna be happy? Are you ever gonna have the time to just love on each other, or are we gonna continue to be met with chaos? And right now it is chaos. Both of these series are very fast paced, all gas, no brakes, consistent like drama and conflict and turmoil. And I now only have one book left after I finish the current books that I'm in for both of these series. And it's like, how are we going to wrap this up? So I was really hoping to be done with Tragic Bonds today, but I didn't do much listening. Filthy Rich Vampires, I'm going to try to really focus on finishing that tonight, because I would like to talk about a book on here that I can actually converse about, and it not be like in the middle of a series. I apologize, but I feel like I'm getting closer to that point. And I did choose my next physical read, and that is going to be Delilah Green Doesn't Care. I don't know how long this vlog is going to be. It really just depends on what we do, how much reading I can get done, and yeah, we'll just go from there. So that is my one update for now. And if I read more and have an update to give, or I can actually talk about what I'm reading, I will be sure to do so. I have another semi-reading update, and this will be the last like semi-reading update that I give in this vlog. First things first, I have finished 2 books since my last update. So the first one I finished was Fractured Bonds or Tragic Bonds, book 5 in the Bonds That Tie series. I'm sure I will have it up here. I finished that. Of course, we ended in a cliffhanger leading into book 6. And unfortunately, the library hold for that book is a 5-week wait. So I was not able to hop right into it. I can read it on Kindle Unlimited, but I've listened to all of them on audio, and I think I want to finish that series via audio. Especially because I do, like when I do my reread of this, I'm either going to buy them physically or I'm going to read them on KU. I really haven't decided, but what I can say is I have enjoyed this series. I have given every book either a 4 or a 4.5. So I think this is going to come out to be a 5-star series. I do hope that I get this before we leave for Apollycon. I don't see it happening. But if so, that'll allow me to like quickly listen. The other book that I finished on my Kindle was Filthy Rich Vampires 3 Queens, and that is book 3. It is so good. My only complaint with this series is the timeline, because things happen so fast, and when you're reading it, if you're paying attention to how quickly things are happening, you're kind of like, girl, I don't even think that we've passed the 6-month mark. I don't think we have. Maybe we might be at 6 months within 3 books. So I did add this to my KU catalog on my Kindle, but I have not downloaded it, and I don't think I'm going to start it next. I do think that I'm going to stick with my original plan and switch over to physical reads. And the physical book that I've chosen to start reading is Delilah Green Doesn't Care. I did talk about this yesterday. We do have like a revenge plot semi. I have really strong feelings about family obligations in books, just because I feel like as an adult, allowing your family to tell you what to do or to like dictate, you know, your decisions and stuff, it does not sit well with me, especially when they're like shitty family. Like to hear like the family was cold and distant, and then her being guilted into photographing the wedding, which I can say at least she's getting paid, but I don't know. I'm not a big fan of like, I'm your family, you have to do this for me, blah, blah, blah. I'm just not. So like I said, I am excited to read this. I've only heard good things about it. I think I said before, this is my first sapphic romance, so we shall see how I vibe. And hopefully it doesn't take me too long to get into this, because it would be so clutch if I could read like 2 books this weekend, or like a book and a half. That would be fantastic. So I probably will not start this book until tonight. So when I have an update on Delilah Green, I will be sure to give that to you. And yeah, I think that's all for now. Hi friends, it is Sunday and we're just gonna excuse my appearance. I am showered and prepped for bed at 6:30, but I did just make it 25% into Delilah Green Doesn't Care, and I wanted to come on here and give you all a little reading update. We have met our 2 main characters, Delilah Green and Claire Sutherland. So as far as Delilah Green, I am enjoying her character. I love seeing characters who have gone through something when they were younger, like try to step into like the adult role and like realize, hey, I'm no longer that kid who can't take up for myself, or that is used to being treated a certain way, and realizing like I don't have to put up with that anymore. And that is what we are seeing from Delilah. She is definitely a flighty person and a loner, and I don't think that's by choice, so I'm happy to see if that changes. Her relationship with her stepsister Astrid is very interesting to read. I feel like there's more to it that is going to come out later in the book, like maybe the strain on their relationship, they really didn't want to be there. But her stepmother, abysmal. I don't think that I will like her by the end of this book. I don't know. But as of right now, I don't like her already. I can tell what type of person she is. Claire, her introduction, like meeting Claire, I definitely really liked her, in the beginning. There was a scene in the beginning with the father of her child, Josh, that I did not care for. I have my opinions about parenting when the relationship between the 2 parents don't work out and how things should go that's like best for the child. And I just don't think that Claire handled a certain thing in a good way, in my opinion. But outside of that, I do like Claire. I do like the interactions that I have seen with them 2 together. I am very curious and I am intrigued to see where this goes. I am not a person who like cares about kids being involved in a storyline, so it's really interesting to see a preteen, because like you hear so much of like how Delilah was treated when she is Claire's daughter's age and like the formative years and things that are going on, but just seeing her mind shift. And obviously when you're kids, when you're teenagers, preteens, you don't think past the moment that you're in, and seeing Claire think back on like how Delilah was treated when she was younger is very interesting too. I know before in the vlog, I think I was saying like I have an issue with like family obligations in books. I'm looking past that because Delilah is being paid, but the wedding being the focal point of bringing Delilah home and being around literally these people who treated her bad and like made her want to escape this town is very interesting to me. So yeah, I am excited to see where this book goes. I am having a good time with it. I don't know how much more I will be reading today because I do plan on starting another book on my Kindle, and it's going between 2 different books. I'm either going to finish the Filthy Rich Vampire series and go ahead and read book 4 in that, or I am going to read book 2 in the Tempting the Monsters series by Catherine Moon. I cannot think of what that book is called, but I really enjoyed book 1, which I will be talking more about that in my wrap up. I think I'm gonna combine March and April, but we shall see. But whenever I do my next wrap up, I will be talking about book 1 from that series. So, but yes, I think I'm going to end this update here. If I read more tonight and I have an update to give, I will do so. And if not, I will just see you in the next one. Friends, so it has been probably a week almost since I have provided an update in this vlog, and I figured, you know what, it is time. I'm just gonna sit down because next week is Apollycon and I do have a lot of content planned that I would like to film. I figured I would sit down, talk to you all, close out this vlog, and yeah, have it ready to go up tomorrow so that we can start a new week and maybe have more luck with reading. So first things first, let me talk about what I have and have not been reading. So the last update you would have seen from me would have been from Delilah Green Doesn't Care, and I have maybe read 2 more chapters since my last update. I'm still in that like 25-27% mark and I'm still having a good time. Anytime I'm reading this book, I'm enjoying what I'm reading, so I'm not going to rush it. I'm going to take my time through this. I honestly feel like I'm going through a slump because when I put down either book that I'm reading right now, I don't feel the pull to pick it up, but I also don't feel the pull to pick up anything else. So that is not this book's fault. This book is lovely. I'm having a grand time. I do have some thoughts about where I see this plot or story possibly going. A part of me hopes it doesn't go in the way that I am thinking it is, but nevertheless, I'm having fun with what I've been given thus far, and I cannot wait to get to the end of it. I know a lot of you have contacted me on here, text me, and have reached out on Instagram wanting to know my thoughts on this book, and it'll either be in my Apollycon vlog, because I probably will take this book as my physical read, maybe if I don't finish it this weekend. If I do finish it this weekend, I will make a short giving my thoughts on this, but if not, it will be in my March and April wrap up that I am planning to do. After I made my last update reading that book, I did start the last Filthy Rich vampire book on my Kindle, and I am about 20% into this. I am very excited to wrap up this series, being that I am in the last book and I'm 20% into this one. As of right now, barring a crazy ending to this series, I would definitely recommend this. If you like vampires, if you like a lot of twists and turns, fast-paced series, very quick reads, I will say, then I would definitely recommend this book. It has been a fun ride. I'm anxious to see how it ends. I will probably at some point either buy the series on my Kindle or possibly own the physical. I'm going between the two. I haven't really decided yet, but I do like it enough that I feel like in the future I would revisit. But yes, I would recommend this book if you like paranormal, vampires especially. This is for the Twilight girlies, the Team Edward girlies. This book is for you. And then lastly, right before I sat down to film this outro, I received a package. I received my first Fairy Loots romantasy adult book box, so I figured I would open it here on camera and share this experience with you all. I am excited. I actually don't know if I mentioned it in any video on my channel that I did sign up for the romantasy adult book box with Fairy Loot, and my stipulation for myself, because we all know should not be buying books this year. My stipulation is that I do have to read this book within the next 30 days. I am going to hold myself to that. I have an idea of what this book could be, and I hope that it's not that. So without further ado, let's just hop right into it. I think this might be the spoiler card, and I'm not gonna look at it But I have a feeling that I know what the book is. And I was right. It is Lore of the Wilds. We have the nice foil detailing, the beautiful sprayed edges. That is lovely. We have the end pages here. Let me see if I can open this up without dropping the book, with the foiling on it as well. Let's take a look at what the back looks like. Oh, fancy, fancy, fancy. Nice. Lovely. It is so, oh my gosh, hold on. It is signed, which is always fit. Oh my gosh, y'all. Look at this. Okay, that is beautiful, for real, beautiful. And then we have this little, looks like a little like apothecary setup with our female main character here. Nice, love it. And it is a reverse cover, it looks like. It is a reverse cover, which is nice. I might reverse that later. But yes, so Lore of the Wilds is the romantasy fairy loot book, and it was also included this little art print of the main character and then a note from the author. But I knew when I opened the box and I saw this that was probably the book, which we had already kind of gotten like some hints to what it was going to be. So I wish it would have been a different book, obviously, because I did just get this one last month. But yeah, so that is that. So that is the end of this vlog. If you made it to the end, leave me a tree emoji for Lore of the Wilds, and thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like this video, subscribe if you're not already, and share if you love the content that I am providing here for you. And I will see you all in my next video. Bye.